Well, we're back out in the game room, and as you can see, this is my Star Trek LE Stern pinball, and I am real pleased with the game so far. It's an excellent game. Even with the current software, it's a great game. But I'm looking forward to the next software updates with the voice callouts, and it should make it a even more intense game. But as well as I love this game, I was disappointed by Stern because they did not incorporate LCD. Instead, they have this red DMD, and this would have been a great title if Stern had to put a LCD in it, but I guess they had this in development and they wanted it for this game, but the time frame just didn't work out. The system wasn't ready, so it is what it is. We have a DMD, and what I want to do next is to replace this, because I believe a blue DMD would be much better, although color would be much preferred. So what I'm hoping is that Color DMD, eventually, when the code is finally finished, that they'll do the same thing they did to this that they did for many of the older pens, like my Star Trek The Next Generation. So I did install a Color DMD in my Star Trek Next Generation, and I just think it adds so much more to the game. I'm not going to go into the what a lot of people say about it. Most people, I think, will agree it does add to the game, and it's a fantastic update. So without going into it, I want the same thing for the Stern Star Trek LE. The only problem is, will it fit? Now, they do have it. It is compatible now, and even though they don't have a colorized version, you can put the Color DMD in the Stern SAM system, which this game has the SAM boards in it. So from a technical point of view, it'll connect and it will work. The problem comes in the mounting, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. But first, we're going to start with Star Trek The Next Generation, because this is the only game that I have a Color DMD in. And before I order another DMD for the Stern Star Trek, I want to know how easy is it going to be to convert the mounting system. And that's a big question. Will it fit easily in the Stern Star Trek? What type of modifications am I going to have to make to the original panel? And how hard or easy will it be to make these updates and changes? Or should I just wait for somebody else to do it? Because I know that there's already several people who have already got a Color DMD just specifically for the Stern Star Trek, so that they can run it in the Sigma mode, so that they can get a blue DMD. So we're just going to go ahead and take a quick look and see what's involved. So we'll start by taking the DMD panel, the speaker panel, out of the Star Trek Next Generation, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, as you can see, we've taken the Color DMD off of the speaker panel, and what we may have to do is replicate something like this. This has a piece of particle board, very thin piece, that the plexi is attached to, and so we may have to replicate something like this to transfer to make it mount over into the Star Trek, but we'll find out when we get the Star Trek off. But as you can see, it has a space here, not much, maybe a ½ inch or so, and then it has the like foam rubber that makes the seal around it to keep dust and everything out of it. So what we've done is we got this piece of foam board, which you can get at any arts and crafts store, and what it is just a thin piece of foam with poster board glued to both sides of it. And this makes some real good stuff for making templates and stuff of that nature. So what I've done is I've taken the Color DMD and I've laid it so that it's even along one side here, and that the mount is flush along here. And it might be kind of hard to see in the camera, but there you go. You can see where the edge of the lip of the mount comes over here, and it has the mounting holes here. So what we're going to do is take a pencil or pen, and we're going to make an outline of the Color DMD on this foam board and mark the holes and the mounting holes here. And when we cut it out, then we'll have a template that we can use over on the Star Trek pinball machine to find out how this is going to fit up to that panel. Okay, well, we've taken our Color DMD and we've cut out a template, and we've put it on the studs, the mounting studs on the next generation panel. So now, as you can see, we just have the white board here. And what we have to do now is we have to mark the viewable area on the template. And it's kind of have to figure out a way to do that, because it's hard to, you can't measure it. Well, yeah, I could take measurements off the mounting post and get pretty close, I guess, but there's got to be an easier way. So let's figure that out. Okay, I've come up with an idea. Not sure if it's going to work or not, but what I did was I took electric tape and cut some small pieces and put them in the corners and on the top and bottom edges, and made sure that they were lined up along the edge, and the sticky side is up. So it's a little hard getting them to line up without, you know, the sticky stuff wanted to stick to my fingers, but I got them all lined up, and what we're going to do now is put the template on the studs and try to slowly put them down and push them in place, and hopefully that electric tape will stick to the bottom side of the template, and that'll give me edges to where I can draw lines so that I can line up this display on the back side of the template. Okay, well, I pushed the template down real good to make a good seal, and now we'll bring this up. You can see the strip of electric tape on that right there and in the corner, and I looked and they appear to be all lined up, so that should do it. Okay, and here is the template with the pieces of electric tape adhered to it. So I ought to be able to put a straight edge along here and get this line, and line up a straight edge on these pieces to get the bottom and the top line, and then this other side edge. So now we can go ahead and take our straight edge and put our lines on here. Okay, well, that worked out rather well. I already drew the lines on here. Might be a little hard to see because it's so bright, but now I have the lines on here. Okay, well, I've taken the panel loose in the Star Trek LE, and I have my template here that I made of the Color DMD, and while it appears that the holes, the outer holes, the 4 outer corner holes are in the identical place, it's true that the Star Trek has the center bolts or the center studs, which would have to be removed before the DMD panel would fit flat on the back of it. But there's another problem. Even though it fits, as far as the 4 corner bolts, if you were to eliminate those 2, if you notice right here, because this is the bottom of the panel, when you line it up to where the it has to be to line up the display, if you'll notice, it hangs down on the bottom side of the panel, and because of that it's not going to work. Because if you look here, the bottom side of the panel goes flat against the bottom of the back box, so there's nowhere for the panel to go. So the panel would be sitting up too high, and it won't line up with the hole cut into the display. So while we could get by with removing these 2 center studs, and the 4 corner studs will line up, the display won't work because it'll be hanging way off the bottom. Now, it'll be real close to the top, but it's just a hair above the top lip, or the top edge there, which you could always set it out like the Star Trek Next Generation display is, so you'd have a gap between the actual panel and the plexi, because you could put a piece of clear plexi in. But even if you were to bring it out so that it was on top of the back lip here, there's still nowhere for it to go, because it can't go down below this metal back box. Okay, the only thing I can figure is if Color DMD has the ability to move this display area to the bottom of the display, then we can reposition the mounting bracket to line up. It's possible, but in its current form, it's definitely not going to work. Now, somebody else can check this out. I'm sure there already been a few people have already ordered the Color DMD to put in this pin, and I can't wait to hear what everybody else has found out about it, and whether they have any solutions that right now I'm not seeing. I'd hope that this would work, and I hope there's a way that we can make it work, but right now it's just not possible in the current configuration. So for now, that's the only thing I know. Just have to sit back and think about it a little bit, and hopefully somebody can come up with a solution.